There is an enemy seeking to devour. What you gonna do when it comes for you? Oh, this ain't no cakewalk. There is work for us to do. The enemy's after you, me, our families too. They want us to lay down and die, give up the fight, but no, not I, no, not I. It's time to rise, put on the armor of God. Make sure your feet, they are sharp. Build your belief in the word, follow his lead. Please walk away from sin so you can enter in the Holy of Holies and then prepare to defend.
Welcome once again to all my sisters and whomever else may be listening in. This is Faith Unapologetic. I've got a really good one for you today. We are going to be discussing everyone's favorite topic, patience. Yes, I know, patience is a hard one for most of us because folks really be working our last nerve. Yet it's critical that we discuss and get a handle on this characteristic. Patience is a superpower the great Creator requires of all those that are His. Patience means long-suffering, slow to anger. In this fast-paced, technological age, patience is something few people actually have these days. Despite all of that, do you think that patience is necessary in our walk with the Creator? Yeshua Messiah informed his disciples, and now you, in the book of Lucas chapter 21 verse 19, that patience is actually crucial to one sustaining one's mind. In your patience, possess you your souls. And that word in the Greek is actually your mind. So in your patience, you possess your mind. That fact alone makes it a superpower one must acquire, as without it, one does not have power over one's own mind. Think about how crucial that is. If one does not have patience, one's mind is on the chopping block for the adversary and his children. Without the superpower of patience, one will have his or her mind hijacked and led to slaughter. Also, seeing that patience is one of the fruit of Yah's Ruach that one is to possess, I would say that in our walk with the Creator, it is absolutely necessary to obtain patience. Galatians 5 verses 22 through 25. But the fruit of the Ruach is agape, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, faith, humility, self-control. Against such there is no Torah. And they that are Messiahs have atoned the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Ruach, let us also walk in the Ruach. Since patience is a skill set we all need to achieve, how does one go about acquiring it in a world that is so irritatingly wicked and frustrating? Obtaining patience is a process that takes time and spiritual hard work via the testing of one's faith. Apostle Jacob stated in the book of James chapter 1 verses 2 through 6, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, that gives to all men liberally, and upbraids not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed." So, life's tests, the ups and downs of temptations, experiences, and adversities are to try one's emunah, faith. When one succeeds, one's faith brings about patience. Via Apostle Jacob's statement, Scripture reveals to us that the characteristics of the fruit of Yah's Ruach one is to actually acquire build one upon another. Thus, the trying of one's faith develops one's patience. So, if one has obtained faith and patience, what comes next? Apostle Shaul Paul actually tells us in one of his letters when he stated, "Therefore, being justified by emunah, faith, we have peace with Elohim through our Master Yeshua Messiah, by whom also we have access by faith into this favor, wherein we stand and rejoice in hope of the esteem of Elohim. And not only so, but we esteem in tribulations also, knowing that tribulations works patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. And hope makes not ashamed, because of the love of Elohim is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKadosh, which is given unto us. And you can find that in the book of Romans chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. Shaul's words are divinely beautiful because Apostle Shaul actually expounded on faith, the trials of life, and patience as was initially expressed by Apostle Jacob in James chapter 1 verses 2 through 6. As expressed, one must first obtain one aspect or fruit of the Ruach before moving on to obtain the next fruit of Father's Ruach. It's like putting in hard work on the job and then obtaining a promotion. As one puts in hard work, one receives promotion after promotion after promotion, which draws one closer to Father Yah, strengthening one's relationship with him. Let's do a quick recap before moving forward. So in order to gain patience, one must first acquire faith, imunah. Being tried and justified by faith, one then gains peace, which is another fruit of the Ruach. Standing firm in faith and Father Yah's shalom, his peace or wholeness, one grows spiritually and acquires patience. Then experience comes, which then leads to hope. So what exactly is one obtaining when experience and hope are obtained? As the English actually does not translate those two aspects well. And we're talking here again about experience and hope. What does that mean? In the Hebrew, the word experience more accurately means to diligently observe. In the Greek, dakime, meaning trial or proving. This makes way more sense when we consider Shaul telling us to prove all things, hold fast that which is good. That's 1 Thessalonians 5:21. As well as what Apostle Yahuchanan tells us in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every Ruach, but try the Ruach, whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. The apostles were relaying to the people then, and what we all need to heed now, is that one should not be hasty in decisions and actions. Instead, one needs to first diligently observe in order to first prove, confirm everything. So, what of hope? What exactly does hope mean? In the Greek and Hebrew, hope actually means expectation. However, the Hebrew is so much more profound. The word for hope is actually tikvah. It represents a cord, as Yah is spiritually our lifeline. We are to be completely attached to him and not this world. Father Yah's tikvah shows his profound love. To take a deep dive into understanding and acquiring hope, you can check out my blog article, Is There Any Hope? The link can be found in the description box, and I'll also be putting together a vid when time allows on this topic as well. Now let's go back and examine some aspects of the book of Jacob, chapter 1, verses 3 through 6, more closely, as there are some hidden nuggets in there that need to have light shown on them. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, that gives to all men liberally and upbraids not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in imunah, nothing wavering, for he that wavers is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Father's word tells us to let patience have her perfect work, that we may be perfect and entire. This is verse 4, wanting nothing. So what exactly does that mean? Via the English language, this is vague. It's an abstract statement. So we are going to first take a look at the words perfect, work, entire, wanting in their proper context, as the English language is extremely lacking. Then we will read verse 4 as it should have properly been interpreted via the actual Hebrew rendering of the words into English and the Greek. All right, so the Hebrew is in the yellow and the Greek is in the white, and you can see that their translations are pretty much similar. So the word perfect does not mean perfect in the English sense. It means blameless, without blemish, complete, or full of age. Work, pretty much the same, service, labor, deed. Entire means whole, all, sound. Wanting means to lack, to make lower, or to be destitute. Now let's read the actual rendering of Apostle Jacob's words in verse 4. But let patience conceive completeness, upright in doing, that you may be complete, upright and whole, lacking nothing. Now that scripture instruction we can actually take a hold of and do. Let's keep going. Verse 5 informs us that if we lack wisdom, we are actually to ask it of Elohim, but we must ask him in emunah, faith, without any doubt, as expressed in verse 6. As such, scripture reveals that if one does not first obtain wisdom, one cannot go on to obtain the knowledge and understanding to even embark on faith. Further, King David stated in Psalm 111:10, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endures forever. Now you know that if you don't acquire wisdom, you will never develop emunah, faith. In addition, the fear of the great I am is the beginning of wisdom. For an excellent breakdown on wisdom itself, you may want to check out The 12 Fundamental Laws of Wisdom, a book by Joseph Joshua. You can access the link in the description box. In summary, patience means long-suffering, slow to anger. Yet patience is not a characteristic one actually achieves in isolation from other required characteristics. One must strive to be upright in all that one sets one's hands to do, so one may be complete, upright, and whole before the Creator, lacking nothing. Lastly, obtaining patience and other characteristics or fruit required of Father Yah is a spiritual growth process. That spiritual process is kicked off when one has the fear of Father Yah. It is from that starting point that real spiritual growth actually ensues. So, the process. Step 1. When one fears the Father, they gain wisdom and understanding. Understanding then leads to performing Yah's commandments. And please see my book, Above Torah, what the New Testament truly reveals about the law, so you can understand what this actually means. 3. One acquires faith via trials without wavering. And then one actually obtains peace, shalom, which leads to patience. In turn, patience leads to experience, and all of those fruits or characteristics of Father's Spirit aids one in acquiring hope. Again, the word for hope is tikvah, and it represents a card, as Yah is spiritually our lifeline. Check out via the description box the link for the blog article, Is There Any Hope While You Wait for the Vid? This article is a wealth of knowledge, and it will ignite your faith and catapult your spirit into overdrive, because spiritually, hope is not what you think. You are going to be pleasantly surprised. In closing, a dark demonic force is closing in on this age of the world. There's nothing we can do about it, as prophecy will be fulfilled. We can't change what's unfolding in this world, but by the superpower of Father Yah that we obtain via patience, we won't let this world change us. Shalom. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and please share. Also check out I Be Reverend Ahaviyah, Yah's Love for Great Faith merch, and the nonprofit Barakah Infinity.